this video is something that is very important to me. And everyone always say, "Hey, yo, how do you lose weight? How do you get rid of that extra fat? That extra fat? How do I start my fitness journey?" And I always tell them, you know what you got to do is first have a schedule, have an idea of a goal that you want to reach, and set a schedule and start small. You know, all you got to do is just walk. Like, oh, walking, man. I walk all the time. I walk every day. But no, walk and put that in your regimen. Just put that in your routine. Walking is very good. Be a high step counter. I used to walk like an hour, 3 days a week, just so I can burn those extra calories to burn that extra weight. I used to be nice and lean right here. You can see that picture I put up right. It's gonna be right there. Um, I was nice and lean just by walking, not doing no extra cardio, not doing anything else. But this video right here, I wanted to look at because I'm not the technical guy. When I tell somebody, "Hey, you need to walk. Walking is good for you," they're like, "Why? Why should I walk?" And I'm like, "Yo, bro, it's good for your. It's a low impact workout. It's good for your joints. Good to help you burn calories without straining your muscles." And they're like, "Man, I don't understand. I don't believe that." And I'm like, I don't know how else to say it, you know. But it's easy by just doing a walk. Start with 25 minutes, and then go to an hour, but use it as like reflection time. Use it for time like just to think and reflect and solve problems or whatever. But just that walking helps you out a lot. But in this video right here is going to talk to you about some about walking. And I was like, yo, I've been looking for a video like this. I've been looking for a video like this so that I can be like, yo, I'm not the guy to bring the science to it, but this guy did.
Check out Base 44.
So let's get
When
through
it
this
comes to
commercial.
walking for getting lean, most
Here
people
he
make the
goes.
mistake of assuming walking is only for beginners, just a way to get off the couch. But walking is actually one of the smartest tools for getting to 10% body fat and staying lean long term, especially if you're already lifting weights and know the basics of nutrition. It's what kept me at 10 to 15% body fat now for over a decade, and it's what I've
Not
used as a
bad.
coach to help over 1,000 men lose fat and keep it off. And in this video, I'll show you examples why I think walking isn't just helpful, but essential if you want to get lean and not suffer through the process. So one of the biggest issues holding people back from losing fat is that our bodies actively work against it. If you ever lost significant weight before, you felt it. The body adapts. You're forced to cut calories lower and lower, and eventually you end up being low energy, mentally drained, no libido, uncontrollable hunger, constant cravings, losing strength in the gym, and the whole routine falls apart.
It
This is
happens.
one of the reasons why so few guys ever get to 10% body fat. And that's also where I've seen walking change everything. When you adopt a high step count lifestyle, all the things that I just mentioned improve and getting lean becomes easier. Let me show you what I mean. Let's take two guys at 200 pounds and 24% body fat who want to get to 10% body fat for their 40th birthday. And to do that, they need to lose around 30 pounds of fat. First, we have Joe, a software developer who spends most of his day glued to the desk. He averages 3,000 steps without really thinking about it. Plus, he goes to the gym 3 times per week. To maintain his 200 pounds of body weight, Joe eats around 2,500 calories a day. So to start losing a pound a week, he has to create a 500 calorie deficit and drop his calories down to
Now, what he's saying that the body adapts to your workout is that if you continue to do the same thing over and over again, the body will adapt to that workout, and then you got to do more to get down to that 10% body fat. So it takes a lot to get down. As soon as you get down that first 15 pounds, when you first start your workout, it's easy to lose that first 15 pounds of body fat. But then you have to work a little bit harder. You got to change up your diet a little bit. So he's showing you a little bit of a diagram of how two people are losing weight at trying to do the same thing, but they're doing different steps. And this is what he believes in a high step count. I believe in also doing a lot of training, but your calories got to match your energy consumption. You're going to do a lot of steps, 1,000 steps, 10,000 steps. I see people always going for a high step count, and they don't realize the higher the step count is, the more nutrition you got to put in your body. So it's good to think about getting your step count in. And the way he breaks it down is breaking it down for the energy level for these two people. Now, for you as an individual, you have to break down your nutrition with your activities. So if you're working out 3 times a week, or if you work out 4 times a week, the calorie count that he's telling you to do right now is 2,000 calories. Now, if you're working out more than 3 times a week or 4 times a week, you might want to increase this calorie count a little bit more so that you can have enough recovery time. But it's different for everyone else. It's different for everybody. So you always got to find out what's good for you. So these people are just an example, just an example.
to 2,000 per day. Then we have Chris. Chris is an accountant and his job is also sedentary, but he took my walking advice to heart. He intentionally walks 10,000 steps a day on top of lifting 3 times per week. Because of that higher step count, Chris can maintain 200 pounds at around 3,000 calories. So to create the same 500 calorie deficit, Chris gets to eat 2,500 calories per day. So the same goal of losing a pound a week, same number of workouts, but as you'll see, these guys are going to have a very different experience. Now, going from 24 to 10% body fat typically happens in 3 phases. Phase 1 is getting under 20% body fat, phase 2 is getting under 15% body fat, and phase 3 is burning off those last few pounds of stubborn belly fat and love handles to hit a true 10% body fat with fully visible abs. Now, in phase 1, neither Joe or Chris notice a huge difference as they stick to their calorie targets, track their food intake, get around 170 grams of protein a day, weigh themselves regularly. The first 15 pounds come off without major issues, and both complete phase 1 and reach around 18% body fat successfully. Hunger has been manageable, sleep has been good, and up until this point, everything has been working well for both of them. But in the middle of phase 2, as they push towards 15% body fat, Joe is starting to struggle. His weight hit a plateau and is barely going down. Naturally, Joe does what most people do. He drops his calories from 2,000 to 1,800 and starts doing 3 intense cardio classes at his gym. You might be thinking 200 calories less isn't a big deal, but for Joe, he was already fairly restricted at 2,000 calories, and this makes things much harder. Eating out has become nearly impossible. He has days where he's not getting enough protein, cravings are through the roof, the intense cardio sessions are leaving him ravenous, and on some days, that ends up causing a few extra snacks that put him over his calories. He's also getting very fatigued and not progressing much in the gym. And overall, he's starting to get very frustrated with the whole process. It's becoming a grind. When I talk to clients, this is exactly the moment between 15 to 20% body fat where many of them gave up in the past. And if you'd like me to coach you through this on your journey, details for that are in the description below. Now, Chris, on the other hand, didn't experience the same hard plateau at around 18% body fat. His weight was still going down. And to keep the same rate of weight loss, he just upped his steps to 12,000 steps per day, started hitting the like button in my videos, and cut his calories down to 2,400 a day. And with that amount of calories, he doesn't feel as limited. He can eat out occasionally and have a holiday meal without derailing progress. He has no problem getting his protein, he's sleeping well, and the extra walking is helping him recover between workouts. Very few people know this, but regular walking promotes something called synovial fluid circulation. Joints like your knees, hips, and shoulders have a synovial membrane that produces a fluid which serves as a lubricant to reduce friction between your bones during movement. This makes walking one of the best things you can do for your joint health. And if you have existing joint issues, research also shows that walking can reduce joint pain and improve overall mobility. Because of this, Chris is able to train hard and make progress in the gym while losing weight. And most importantly, he's actually enjoying the process because he's seeing results and it feels sustainable. So he drops an additional 9 pounds and is now at 177 pounds at 14% body fat with only 7 pounds to go. While Joe can't seem to get below 17% body fat and is mentally reaching a breaking point. His sleep is starting to get worse. Every diet mistake he makes, he regains weight and turns into a major setback. setback. He also tries going to 1700 calories, and on some days he can push through with a lot of willpower, but then rebounds the next day and overeats. And the worst thing is, because of a low protein intake on a lot of days and losing strength, his physique is starting to look more squishy and skinny rather than lean and athletic. In a nutshell, Joe is completely stuck in phase 2, and while all that suffering is happening, Chris is now well into phase 3 and pushing toward 10% body fat. Because his workouts were going so well, he also has a solid amount of muscle. He can already see his abs and is down to those last 5 pounds of
Solid.
stubborn belly fat, which are covering
And
his lower
that is
stomach area.
very
Now, to push
attainable.
through this last
Very
bit, Chris
attainable.
goes down to 2,000 calories per day on top of walking 12,000 steps and lifting 3 times per week. And notice one important thing. Chris is officially at the same calorie intake for the last 5 pounds of fat as Joe was at the start of the diet. Yes, this final push is going to be hard, but he's already so close to the goal. There's no way he's going to give up now. Plus, when you get to 12% body fat and you only have 4 or 5 pounds left to lose, you start seeing visual changes in the mirror every week, and it's very motivating. Joe, on the other hand, is hating every moment of this. Visually, you can see a little bit of his top 2 abs and really good lighting, but for the most part, he's been bouncing between 16 to 18% body fat for the past 2 months. Every time he makes a little bit of progress, there's a holiday or a life event that brings the weight right back, and he's
That
stuck in this
will
yo-yo
get you
cycle.
stuck.
And it's only a matter of time before he quits. And with this experience, Joe feels like 10% body fat is completely unattainable, while Chris just hit 10% body fat and can now go to maintenance at 25 to 2600 calories a day. His high step count lifestyle allows him to stay lean while eating more calories than Joe's maintenance was at 200 pounds and 24% body fat. That's the power of walking. And these two scenarios are something I've seen play out time after time. What started off as successfully losing 15 pounds for both ended up being a very different experience because of the domino effect that daily movement triggered. Now, for me, walking isn't just about burning a few extra calories. It's more about building an enjoyable lifestyle I can see myself doing for decades. And this is
So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Walking does a lot for you. So when I was in a competition, I had a trainer, a coach, and he gave me a regiment, and he told me that I needed to do an hour of walking along with my fasted workouts. Like when I'm fasting 3 times a week, I'll do an hour of walking after my workout and finish it the fast, and then I will eat after my walk. But he was saying always do that walk, especially when you're fasting. And I would fast probably 3 times a week, and I would wait. I'll do my workout, and then I'll do my walk, and then I'll eat. Usually it will be oatmeal, eggs, and then an avocado or some yogurt. One of the two things that was in my thing, but most of my meals was chicken and broccoli, beef and broccoli, rice. It was very bland. And like the guy was saying, the problem is when you're trying to hit a goal and you're trying to reach somewhere, you have to be locked in. There's gonna be times that the people are gonna be like, hey, let's go out. Let's go hang out and eat dinner. Those are the times you have to lock in the most. Those are the times you gotta be like, all right, we can go out. And then when you do go out, you go out saying, let me count my calories. Let me make sure what I'm eating is not gonna mess up my diet. Do they got chicken? Do they got broccoli? Do they got rice? Well, that's what I'm gonna be eating because that's part of my diet. And there was a couple of weddings that I had to go to when I was on my training routine when I was going to my competition. And throughout all those weddings, all those little events that I had to go to, I always brought my meal. And I was like, this is what it takes. It takes for you to, no matter what event, is to be ready and to be motivated to be like, you know what, this is all I can eat. No matter what I do, where I go, this is what I got to eat. So it takes a little bit of a lock-in mentality. Like, this is what I'm gonna do for 6 months. You gotta try to do it clean for 6 months and not give up. Because once you give up, then you're gonna be like, man, I could have gotten there, but I gave up. And it only takes one mess up to cause that avalanche. Anyway, that's why walking is good. Walking is gonna help you lose that weight before you even know it. What I do on the walking, this is what I do exactly on my walking. I'm on a 9% incline, and I'm going for 2.4 miles per hour on my walk. On the treadmill, 2.4 miles per hour. In 25 minutes, you have walked 1 mile. So that right there is gold. I did that every time I do that for a whole hour, I've done at least a mile, 2 miles of walking. And that's a lot of calories burning. And to get ripped at 30, 36, and in my 40s, it's hard. It's hard to stay maintained. But just that walking and playing with the kids and running around with the kids is keeps you active. And that walking keeps you capable of keep on moving and getting it going. But anyway, y'all know why walking is important. That's why we check in. All right, keep on checking in. Like, subscribe. Get notified for the next video. You'll learn something. Man, and receive some more jewels. All right, let's get walking. All right, so peace.